Live from our studios, just steps from the fabulous Las Vegas Strip, it's the Business Lounge with your host, David Wright.
Hi, I'm your host, David Wright, and welcome to the Business Lounge, where we talk to real people, real business, and real success. With me today, I have Sherman Ray. Sherman is the co-owner of Avery's Coffee, the only black-owned coffee shop in not only Las Vegas, but all of Nevada. Sherman, thank you for being on my show today.
Hey, thank you, David. Thanks for inviting me out. It's a pleasure to be here.
You know, I just wanted to ask you, how did this whole coffee thing come about with you?
Wow. Avery's Coffee has basically been we've been planning it, my wife and I, Linda, for about 17 years. And it's funny because my family, when Linda and I first got married, used to get us coffee presents when we first got married. And we've been married going on 23 years now. So for many, many years, the family knew we loved coffee, and it just seemed like something natural that we would grow into it. So about a year ago, we basically said, you know what, kids are all out of the house, let's go ahead and have a coffee shop. So we put a plan together and followed that plan, and now we're actually starting our 4th month now. It's been a great ride so far.
So this has been something that's been in the works for a long time.
Oh yeah.
Help my audience understand how you went about coming to this decision. I know you said you had done a lot of planning,
Yeah.
And there was some thought that had gone into it, and it was a dream of yours for
Sure.
quite some time.
Mm-hmm.
But help me understand really the details of how this came about.
Yeah, Linda and I have been business consultants for many years now. We've helped other business owners. And throughout that time, we've done planning and we've done research and marketing and all the other stuff. And it just almost seemed like we needed to do something to help us out now. And we'd help businesses launch business products and everything else. So what we did is we literally took our own advice. After all these years of talking to people about coffee and stuff like that, right? You know what I'm saying, right? Yeah. We took our own advice. We actually put together a plan. And that plan really was kind of detailed. It was a 26-week plan, literally from start to finish. I've got an Excel spreadsheet, with the whole thing made up in it, every day accounted for and everything else. And like I said, because we'd been in consulting for so long, we knew that we had to do something pretty big. We knew we couldn't just do something that, kind of like what a lot of people do. They just they've got kind of a vision for what they want to do, but they really don't implement it. So our plan literally had meat on the bones. It had daily things that we had to do. It had weekly things. It had projections, short and long term, that kind of stuff.
So give me an idea of what a daily goal or a daily task might be in accordance with your plan.
Sure. Like I said, ours was a 26-week plan. Literally had short-term goals and had long-term goals on a daily basis. Let's say, and especially starting out a business, we had to have permits, things like that. We had to be able to speak to certain people. And so like my first week, I had to have like my business plan already started. Had to have a lot of things in process going on at the same time. So in order to get all that, into one place, I had to have it written down. I don't know if you're like me, but I have to have things written down. I've got to have blocks, like Lego blocks and stuff like that. And so I have to have things lined up, and if I can see them, then I know what I have to do next. I have to talk to the inspector. I have to talk to the merchandise person. I have to talk to this person. And that's what basically we had to do. And all those days, all the way up to 26 weeks to the opening of our business, were all accounted for.
So that plan really served as a foundation for you growing your business.
Oh, yeah.
So talk to me a little bit about the vision for Avery Coffee.
Yeah, Avery's Coffee is unlike any other coffee shop here in Las Vegas. I don't know about you or if you've noticed it, but in Las Vegas, we really don't have a coffee culture. We have a lot of what we call big box stores. We won't mention any names. I'm not here to mention any names. We have a lot.
I will.
Okay. Yeah. But we have a lot of big box stores. We have a lot of big box companies. If you go to Seattle, you go to Idaho, you go to Oregon, you go to San Francisco, they have a coffee culture where there's a lot of coffee shops on every corner. There's a lot of roasteries. And I was actually talking to a girl recently, and she's from California. In her place, they have, I think, 4 or 5 Albertsons. they have 6 or 7 roasteries, right? So that's serious. That's a coffee culture. Here in Las Vegas, we want to bring that same sort of thing here to Las Vegas. We're not here to destroy what's already here. We're here to bring a richness to Las Vegas. Las Vegas doesn't have a sports team, literally. You know, we have UNLV. I love the UNLV Rebels, but it's going to take a while before we become a sports town. Coffee is going to be something that we're doing our part to. One person said something very interesting. They said, well, Sherman, how are you going to compete against the Starbucks, of America? And I said, we're not here to compete against Starbucks. If I could put an analogy, there are Mac people and there are PC people. Mac people know why they like what they like. If you're a Mac person, you know why you like a Mac. And PC people, they generally use PCs and they're fine, they're happy, and it does what it does. But Mac people know what they're looking for. Mac people are the people we're looking for Avery's Coffee. They know coffee, they know why they like coffee, and that's going to be a beautiful thing.
You bring up an interesting point, and help me if I'm. You were talking about a roastery. How do you source your coffee? I mean, you don't. Obviously, you're an independent. It's not a franchise. It's your idea. It's your plan. So, how did you go about sourcing the coffee?
Oh gosh, we were searching and searching, and it's still it's an ongoing thing. We're new to the coffee industry, and even some of the roasters that are here in Las Vegas right now are very new. Matter of fact, I will mention a company. It's called Colorado River Roasters, and they're out in Boulder City. They're even fairly new. And I was just talking to Don, the owner of that, yesterday. Yesterday. They're only 5 years young in the industry themselves. So Las Vegas is a long way to go. The way we sourced our coffee is we did a lot of searching, and for the last 2 years, we've been looking for the right person, whether they should be from California, whether they should be Las Vegas. We choose to be Las Vegas. We really believe in the shop mom and pop, shop local type mindset, where we want to see the local community grow. So right now we're using a local roaster here in town, but we're going to be looking in the next couple of months to do our own roasting. So we want to be very vertical in our business and bring everything under the banner of Avery's Coffee.
That's interesting. A question for you, being that you're not affiliated with a franchise or that, how did you go about coming up with a marketing plan for your business?
Oh gosh, yeah. I think we learned a lot from our business owners. For the last 4 years, we've had a marketing and a networking group called the Diversity Networking Group. And those business owners, we've had everybody from the Mary Kay lady to doctors and lawyers, people who are heads of the Asian Chamber and stuff like that. Through all that time that we've been working with these folks, we've learned a lot of strategies on marketing. And so we really kind of looked at 4 or 5 different ways to get the word out about our business. Matter of fact, we started a year before our business even started, telling people about our business. We started a year before setting people up, for lack of a better word, to let people know that we were serious about what we were doing. As a matter of fact, we actually even, in one of the ways that we were kind of marketing, and this is kind of out of the box. One of the books I read basically said you have to do something big, really big, to get people to notice you. And so part of our branding was that we're serious people, that we're really about doing what we're going to do. So 2012, I actually started training for the Las Vegas Marathon. That was a deliberate move to let people know that we were serious, so that when we finally decided to open up the business, that people knew, hey, that this guy was serious. So that was kind of an interesting way of marketing. It's outside the box, but sometimes you have to do those type of things.
That's interesting, because there's in the sales world, there's an old adage: you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. And it sounds like you understood really that your goal is not to make them drink, but to make them thirsty.
Make them thirsty. That's it.
Make them thirsty.
That's it. Sure. And that's funny because we heard from somebody. They said basically you need to have a following before you open the doors. And if I could suggest anything to any business owner, before you're developing your business, and one of the things you ought to put into that whole business plan is to build in an audience before you open your front doors. And that was something real big. By the time we opened our doors, we literally had to open our front doors because people were at the door going, "Hey, we know you're there." You know, they were knocking at the door and they're saying, "We know you're there. We've heard about you for a year now, and we want to know why you're there. We want to know what you've been talking about all this time." So you're right. Definitely get them thirsty. Yeah.
What avenues do you use for your marketing? And I know you said that you had gotten the word out probably a year or so before you had started. What are your 3 biggest vehicles or methods of gaining that audience?
Sure. I think one of the biggest ones and the most effective one, and I know a lot of people will probably say, you know what, it's not as powerful as it is, but social media has been huge. And you understand social media is more than anybody that I know. So you understand the power of it. But social media has probably been the biggest thing that we've used. It's the thing that we've used to test the market, you know, to see if our message is going to be correct. And it didn't cost us a dime, you know, to do that. So that was really big, and that's something I learned from you, is that, you know, you can use those vehicles to test out the water, see what they're going to do. So social media has been huge. We've also been doing, which I think is probably the second most powerful, is word of mouth, is really just getting people talking about our business, those early adopters, right? Getting those people who've already bought in, they're already committed to us being a business owner, using those people to get the word out about it. We've also used print media. We're in several newspapers, which has been great. And so, you know, I think those are probably the 3 biggest right now that we're using. But I'll tell you, the biggest one, bar none, is probably social media. That's something we still do every day, in the morning, in the afternoon, that we do. We actually do them, throughout the day too. It's just getting the word out, constantly being on the tip of everybody's tongue all the time.
So do you have any events planned for this year that you'd like to let people know about that are coming up?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, tonight, actually we've got an event tonight too, and once again, we were talking about the whole culture thing, trying to develop a culture. We're an espresso bar and a tea company. And one of our partners, her name is Naomi, she actually put on the Las Vegas Tea Festival, and I believe that was actually 2012 that we were a part of that. She's having a tea tasting at our shop this evening, starting at about 6 o'clock. So I don't know if anybody will see this by then, but you know, we're actually going to have that, and we'll have those a couple times throughout the year. And also coming up in March, we're actually having, and I don't know if I can say this right now. Maybe I'll prequel this. Okay, so you'll be the first ones to hear about this. We're having Councilman Bob Beers is going to be at our shop, and so it'll be kind of like a way for the city councilman to rub elbows with the folks. It used to be called a beer with beers, but it's actually going to be coffee with beers. I know, yeah.
I cleaned it up a little bit.
Clean it up, yeah. So they contacted us just recently, so we've confirmed that. They're going to be at our shop in March. It'll be March 14th. We're also having a thing called Coffee and Cars for a Cause. So that'll be real exciting. And what that is basically it'll be a car show. So we'll have about 200 cars. It'll be exciting. So that'll be a little later in the year when it warms up a little bit.
So before I let you go, is there a single tip that you would offer to anybody who's looking to become an entrepreneur or business owner?
Follow your passion. Do some smart due diligence. I would say that don't be too big to not take advice from people. So I would say those are 3 things. Follow your passion. Do your due diligence. Don't be fearful of taking advice from people because you will never know it all. And so take advice from everybody and just be like this big sponge. Be like SpongeBob. You know what I mean? Be like
just soak it all in.
Soak it all in, you know, and learn from people, because I don't think as an entrepreneur you can ever get to the point where you just know it all. So keep learning, keep learning, keep learning.
I know you have to go and you're busy. Mm-hmm. I just want to thank you for being on the show. Mm-hmm. And this is Dave Wright from the Business Lounge, talking to real people, real business, real success. Mm-hmm. See you the next time at the Business Lounge.